comrades, it's Premier Rever, and I am back at Neuve Revergrad, and I have been fairly busy, and I'm pretty excited. Get to do a lot of nice design work again today. So if you had watched the last episode, you know we're going to head back down to Old Revergrad for a bit, but I just wanted to show you real quick around the map. Not anything that excited. I guess we got our sports in. We have to get some more of this stuff built. I went around already and just assigned the heck out of everyone, so we should have some time before they run out of work to do. Some of them are on auto assigned, so this guy's just sort of plugging away. Oh, good, we got a fire station, so we can, you know what? Let's go ahead and buy a fire truck. And I don't know if people will make it out this far, but yeah, I think you're better off just with whatever fire truck has the highest level. So we'll buy that guy, and yeah, I think they'll make it. So I don't think we necessarily have a bus sitting around anywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy the fastest, littlest bus we can, just because I think that will get them there the quickest without running out of time. Yeah, see, these are pretty quick. I think there's some little buses that are... Is there one that's 100 that carries 20? Let's see what's on. Doesn't even really need to carry 20, but we probably could even use 2 buses for this kind of distance, but then they get all jammed up anyway, right? So I guess 90 is going to be about the best. And let's go back. Is there one? Yeah, we go from like 7 passengers to 52. This one's 32, but it's only 85. Yeah, let's go with the little orange bus. And I think it'll work out. At least it'll get some troops out there, so to speak. Now, where can we go? We can't pick up from here, can we? Let's just try this. I've never tried to pick up. Oh, yeah, look at that. Why don't we... Okay. I mean... Do we have many people sitting there? I don't see anyone sitting there. Hardly anyone. Why is there... Well, I guess it's a busy place, that's all. Compared to this one. You might want to take a look at that anyhow. Yeah, so let's... Yeah, that was this one. Alright, so let's head over to here. I guess this will work. Alright, and then... Well, there they all go. Alright, so I guess we could... I don't think it makes any difference if we uncheck that, but it makes me feel better. And you can start. So, again, I don't think that's going to be the greatest coverage in the world, but at least it'll get somebody out there, and these buildings won't tend to burn down. Yeah, we need to get the power supply before we start putting fuel in there. Anyway, we're getting distracted again. I've just assigned the living heck out of everything. So these guys should be working diligently on mostly roads. And then over here, we've got just more stuff coming up. I had to build a few roads. I guess I missed another road over here. Not build, but just attach to the things. So we're making progress over here. And, oh, what do we got going on now? Are you... Oh, we're just having a little traffic-y. Now, since this is one way, I think we should probably put... Right? Yeah, I don't see... I mean, let's do... There should be plenty of room, and that'll just keep the other ones, if they're coming in some other place, get them a little bit jammed up, or less jammed up. If the gravel one's coming in or something, they can get in here. Yeah, this one has to go back out the other way, but then they could go this way. So really, let's again, this is what you call distracted, right? There's no real way to get to this other track, is there? No, so let's... We could have a slightly longer train than that, but can we get a... I'm just going to purchase this with dollars. Oh, we should have done electric track. I don't know if it costs you more to do it separately. Right, and then we'll... chain. So really there's no point in this being... This track is just really useless. Right? Because there's no way a train's coming back out that way. So if this one's pointing out, this one's pointing in. Like we don't want a train going back out that way ever. And then this... That's probably a little bit of a recipe for trouble. I'm going to get rid of these two momentarily. So I can move this guy closer. And then that would be an in. Yeah, this is good, and that's good. And this is the same deal as over there. So let's, one of the things I want to do, watch it, I'll put two signals in, delete them, and then we get rid of those nodes. And this time we're going to do the same thing. So we'll actually, right, so this becomes a dumb piece of track. I guess it should technically be a chain, but it's never going to get used because they just come in this way and go back out the other way. So we're going to put two regular signals here. And really, I think I just want to get rid of this one. Right, and then this whole thing here, I think I'm just going to disconnect this because it's just making more of a signaling mess. In order to I don't have to destroy the whole thing, right? We'll just do this. Boy, this is fully distracted. Right, and then that would be an out, and if a train could ever come back this way, which it won't, right, so that's just really a useless piece of track as long as they're all able to go in one way. And then we should probably have another signal out here just to, yeah, we'll have another signal. I don't think, these gravel trains really don't tend to be long. And they don't overextend past the thing there. And I don't really anticipate that many of them. So then what we'll do is we'll, you know what, we're going to get rid of these, move them a little closer. Just because it's probably a good habit and practice to get into. Right? And then the same thing here. So these, oh, look at that. It's invisible. Right? Even if they stop here, if they overextend, they're going to overextend into that other. And then this is fine to be chain. And you know what? This one's kind of closer. Now this is going to be the same thing this way. Let's get rid of this one. And look, we'll put in two more signals. Delete them, and that'll get rid of those nodes. I want to pretend, yeah, I think we want to get rid of these two. Right, because that's just going to cause, and then this, why is that? Oh, I see. So if they come out of this, they need to be able to get, but really this is just a useless piece of track. But if they come off of this one, they need to be able to get back over to this track. So let's... Right, so that they can get... Right, so they come out of here, they get into there. Let's go back to our signaling. Yeah, we're going to get rid of these signals. And then this, well, it should be theoretically a chain signal, but it's again, it's kind of a useless thing because they can't come in this way to actually get anywhere. So this is like at this point, a useless piece of track. And the only problem with what I did is it doesn't leave a lot of room. If we want an out here, but that's not enough length to get into there. But given, the problem is, yeah, you know what I think I'm going to do, just because that's a useless piece of track, is delete this and this so that it's less of an issue of crossing, right? Because that would be back out and this would be back out this way, and then you don't need extra signaling right there. However, it could feed back through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a regular signal like that and a regular signal like this, which is, really probably should just delete that track, to be honest with you. All right, let's see. I don't think that is going to, oh, wait. No, that's not going to cause a problem. And then this, I think this will be long enough for any train, I hope. Boy, this is fully distracted from what I wanted to do, but it's good to get done, right? Yeah, so this could really just be deleted, and this is not electrical track, is it? Or is it? I'm gonna check. No, it's not. All right, we're just gonna cheat again. Again, it's not cheating. I mean, it's... Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of that track. It's annoying me now. Now that I don't want it, it's just... Let's see when you get all of this mess, see that it's going to make that a lot cleaner, or at least a fair amount cleaner. So let's... Can't place a symbol for it there, but I can get one here, and then I can go and delete this one, and it gets rid of that extra node. And you know what? Yeah, eventually we're going to attach all that up, but we'll have to deal with this whole intersection. This is just construction, which is a pain to deal with. So what I'm thinking of is, though, for now, I think I'll just change this to a regular signal, because I think that's... Yeah, let's put a regular signal here, here, just to block out that intersection. It's kind of blocked out by these other ones, but can't hurt the flow of things. And see, just like that one's a bit of a waste. It's sort of a bit of a waste to have this one coming in. Yeah, so what we want... Right, and then this... be a chain in, and this is just a useless little piece of track right there. Right, and then we could probably put Yeah, probably another one like here, say. Right, and when they come out of there, they can go in either one of these tracks and to get back over to this one. Okay. Fully distracted. The first 15 minutes, and I guess that's some of the joy of the game. When you're making a YouTube video, you have a little bit more of a goal to, you know, stay on topic, but I do enjoy this about the game where there's just 1,000 little things to take care of. Now, I'm just wondering why I'm not seeing trains. Okay. Now, you should be already working on this one. Yeah. And what did you do? Something. Oh, look at that. That's a no good. That's that little... There's a little bit of lag building up in my game these days. I need to delete back. Delete back enough we can put in another little piece. Let's make sure I can see that we're attached. Okay. So now, am I just missing these guys, or is there... Oh, okay. See, you gotta keep an eye on these things. Okay, now they're heading out, but why wasn't... I don't know. Could have just been timing. Why weren't they heading out before, right? And you're just holding this guy up for a second. I'm okay with that. All right, so let's head over to where I planned on being, like within minutes, and I'd share with you guys what I did. Let's put on the wireframe tool for a moment. And this is, well, there's a few things. Like when you sit here leveling, you have some time to contemplate. So there we go. So again, it's not level, but it's flattened. And I think it's generally a big enough area. If we come in here and take a look, there's some things I thought of. And let's go over here real quick before we even take a look there. Just open up these two. So here's our food distribution. I'm going to turn off the wireframe. We're not going to need it for the minute. Not food distribution. Did I just say that? Fabric and clothing. Fabric takes clothing takes half of the amount that fabric can produce. This would be like 4.8. Let's allow for a rounding. So 2.4 times 2 clothing factories per one fabric factory would get you one fabric factory should be able to produce enough for the clothing there. Now, of course, the fabric's also going to need chemicals and crops coming in. So that's a little bit of a unique that we would, well, not unique, but it wouldn't be bad if we could have farm silos over there and a regular warehouse. Now, the other thing I was thinking of is, so that would really mean that if we wanted, let's just say 4 clothing factories. I don't think that that's unreasonable. They really don't produce that many clothes. So like 1.2. Now let's go over to our economy and we'll look at, well, yeah, I guess domestic production industry, is that, no, I guess we'd want facilities, citizen facilities. So we used 2.3 clothes. Let's see, how much did we, now I guess that's going to include that. So really, what that's telling me is we would need 2 clothing factories to produce enough clothing. So that's why I'm thinking 4 would be reasonable. If we take a look, we have 35,000. I think the map is going to crash before we have 70,000, but I don't think it's unreasonable to say that we should have 4 clothing factories. I just, and if we had a little bit extra, it's a good export product. So having said that, I think that that would mean we would need at least 2, let's say 2 to 3 fabric factories. I'm going to assume that everything's not going to run perfectly, but if we really wanted to keep the clothing, you'd probably have an extra fabric factory. Now, the other thing is, let's head back over this way. And I kind of took a look at at the one vehicle production we have and came in here to like the licensing, and I'm not sure which one of these would use the most fabric, but I'm making some assumptions because I'm not overly familiar with the car manufacturing. This would use 0.19 fabric. This would use 0.45. So I'm assuming a bus would tend to use the most. And when I kind of looked, it certainly seems that way. Like you would think the seats in the bus. Now, a car could use a fair amount, but they seem to all use 0.014. So really a pretty tiny amount. Now, if you look at the work days, this is 76. And you have up to 400 workers. So I'm sort of, or 500 really if you count the engineers. So you could probably make 6 cars a day, which would be like 0.06. But let's say you could make close to a bus a day. You know, I think you could say like 0.5 on each one of these would be the absolute most fabric. So a half a fabric a day. So we have 3 of them. So that would be 1.5. So let's just say we had 2 fabric a day coming out of here. It's really saying that 4 of these fabric plants would probably be enough, though I wouldn't mind leaving us some room to get up to like maybe 6. It doesn't mean we have to do it. And then I was thinking about trying to get the trains in here. Like, what is this? A clothing warehouse. So at one point I had laid out like a train that would come in here, but what I'm thinking of doing differently is I'm thinking of making a spot where we could drop the chemicals and like over here, because this is sort of a weird shaped area anyway. Like this is nice and square, and then you have this little jut out. So I'm picturing that we would far enough off of here that we could make a nice sweeping turn, get chemicals and crops into a rail cargo station. All right, something along these lines, where we're kind of on the side of that hill, but like keep it like way over here as best we can. And I would think maybe let's turn on the wireframe. I like to make things square, even though it doesn't need to be, but it will give us a better idea. All right, if we were to, you know what I want to do? Since I can, if I'm going to do this over here. Oh, you know what? There's other things I need to talk to you guys about before we get, not need to, but would like to. All right, since we did that, let's start out a little tiny bit different. No, we just need corn and chemicals, right? This will just be like an incoming trains. Like we could even have 2 of them potentially sitting there. This is where the waypoints may really come in nice, depending on how we wanted to do it. Especially if we only wanted 1 train going back and forth to bring these things in. But so we'll leave that in mind. So what that means is I'm going to try to put this guy like as far back over this way as I can. Yeah, I guess I could leave the possibility of getting off to the right there, but mostly what I then want to do is come in here and have, like a grain storage here. And then we would have like a regular warehouse. Let's level out a little bit more. No, you're turning red because of that other guy. All right, let's just do a little more levelly around this. You can always re-slope it, not to level. It's just a pain to level around buildings a lot of times. Fire extinguished. That's good because I wasn't paying any attention. It's a good thing my job isn't to get these kind of things extinguished. You know what I want to do? Let's do just a gravel road. Yeah, I was afraid of that. After that. Yeah, why don't you just come straight out here? Yeah, we can commit to that semi. So the one, I really wish there was a train that we had a road outside of the bounds of of the, like, in other words, if you want to take full advantage of a train station, the road has to come here, but then like in this kind of situation, you can't get the road back out of there, right? Because you can't cross these things that I'm aware of. I don't think you can build a bridge over them. They're like part of the factory. So you end up abandoning the ability to fight fires in your train station, which may not be a big deal, but it would just be nice if there was an option for like the roads that weren't into there, if that makes sense. Like they weren't in the middle. Anyway, all right, let's go back over to storages, grain silo. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to put that on a little bit of an angle. Oh, I don't think that's going to... You know, you're actually better off. You can get to some of it. Well, I guess you can't do the grain silo. Yeah, that's not going to... I tried. Yeah, let's spin around. Part of the reason is you can't see because that thing's in your way. I did look after the last update just to see... Just to see if I could get rid of that. There we go. Not pretty, but it's there. And then now we can come to this. All right, that could be really close, I think. No, I can't build it because it's hitting the road. It's a little bit of an angle, but I think I kind of have to deal with that. There we go. So that could be our chemicals coming into here, and then we would have corn coming into here. And then what I would like to do is then go over to road connections. And, well, you know what? Let's go to railroads real quick. Yeah, let's get that out straight, just so that I don't build. Yeah, I know that's not. Yeah, I know I'm going to need, this is our supplies. This is the general supply loop. So I would picture that the crops are going to be on here and the chemicals will be on here as well. If we come all the way down, wherever our chemicals are, see the chemicals don't go on the regular supply loop. They should be going on this other loop, the corn supply loop, we could almost call it. Corn and chemical supply loop, the CC loop. So eventually I'll tie these two together, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't mess up anything here. Right? Now, I would also not mind that this came back out somehow. Like, I don't know how we would do it, but could it tie into here? We're kind of awful high up the hill. But we'll sort of worry about that later. Yeah, let's see. We might... Let's see where else clothing, like, because fabric needs to come out of here, so we're going to have more trains potentially on this loop, in a sense. And I don't know. Now that we have waypoints, I'm a little more inclined to not need that loop as much. Like, part of the reason for the two loops was to cut down on traffic and also be able to control where they go. So, all right. So the idea from this point would be that we're going to supply things by road. But in order to do it to many factories, I'm thinking that rather than the one parking space that we have in I think there's two in here, which isn't so bad. But let's see about, can we put in, yeah, I guess we would put our road cargo station. Well, we could put it up on the hill. Yeah, let's level out. I don't think there's a limit with these factory connections. Though I do want to leave enough room we can get the roads in and out of there. So let's see, can we... Come on. Yeah, see, I guess we should go closer. Let's just plop that guy there. And this guy here, can we... Yeah, see, they don't really care about the steepness. But this guy will. And then right, so that brings all of that stuff just that much closer. So like this guy could go and get, you could have a bunch of trucks sitting here for chemicals. Now I know it takes up a little extra room, but we're really not too far into this, and we could build close to here. So again, what we just did too, I think, is that it's a lot more difficult to get the railroad tracks to go where you want than to get the roads. Not that the roads go everywhere you want every time you want, but like in other words, if we do it smart, I think we'll have plenty of flexibility in putting in 8 of these. Like we could have some silos wherever we kind of want. We don't have to worry about like a train coming straight in and going straight out. We could just get as many trucks coming off of here as we can. Yeah, does that make sense? Good. All right, let me change subjects on you guys just a little bit, because even though we got into that, I probably should have started by just talking about my thoughts over here, because it sort of all fits in to what's going on here, which is the question of how would we bring the people in. Now, the last time we talked about bringing them in right here, and at one point while I was sitting there leveling, I thought about, boy, it would really, I think we could fit that distribution almost right where this, we could almost use this train cargo station if it was in a better place, like just maybe move it back a little bit further this way. And then we could have the 4 distribution warehouses or meat packing, whatever we wanted, you know, right around this. But then I thought, boy, wouldn't it be kind of nice to we could put more houses like right in this area around the train station. It might mean building another school and stuff like that over here, which sort of all starts extending maybe more into this area. But then I was thinking, well, there's really no reason you couldn't, right? Like it's not, you know, you'd still probably be reasonably close to the university. We could extend it out with the tram lines and stuff. And who cares if we're close to the radio station? That's actually good. We can stop bussing people over here. And then that would kind of leave our, you know, depending on exactly how I did it, I'd probably move this train station a little bit more than I was thinking, like over this way, because we could put some more houses right in here where they could get to the shopping center and the universities and, you know, really just start extending the city out more in this direction rather than worrying about getting to Importska, which was sort of my thinking at one point. You know, we could just expand into this area a bit to get more clothing workers and just make a neater city. This was designed way back in the day. So having said all that, I think I'm back to thinking that this is the best way right here as far as that. So we would have a passenger line that would come through somehow. Then the other thing I was thinking of is with a little bit of a bridge, we could come out of the town this way and get in between the two here. Then this, we would have to jump over this one or whatever, right? Like, but we have room. That's one of the reasons I like building extra bridges and not being minimal about it. We could have this come over this one way or the other. And then we're missing, like, this is, the supplies would come from this, right? And they would go in here. And then we could bring our passenger loop kind of into the middle of things. And then this outer loop could come around, and that would be like the supply. So we would end up with, this would be where we'd put the fabric on, or clothing would go onto the supply loop. Now I know the fabric is sort of not part of the supply loop, but then picture at that point is where I want that train track to come around this way and eventually tie into here somehow, whether it's a whole separate line or not. Remember, we did this as part of the supply loop, so we would tie this into a fabric train coming around the mountain there. Where is it? Like where that dotted line is, if you guys can see it, where the dirt roads are. we would tie that in, and then the regular stuff could tie into the supply loop one way or the other. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing at this point. We're only going to have a couple fabric trains. Like, I don't really see the real reason to have a whole 2 lines this whole way. But by the time you got up to where we would tie back in, maybe that you separate it out here so that the supply train could come up this way to go to fabric, but then the other one could come here. And I'm not sure that building all those extra tracks is really all that smart anyway, especially now that we have waypoints and we can kind of force them back onto the right loop if we wanted to. Speaking of waypoints, you know what I didn't look at? Sorry. Once again. Oh yeah, we're making good progress. Good. At least we're not all jammed up. Good. Yes, we'll have to electrify all that, but we are... What does our waypoint look like? Oh, do we lose our waypoint? Oh, there it is. No, there it is. It doesn't really stand out in the crowd, does it? What happens when you go to... All right, we're not going to worry about that. That's distracted again. Okay, so what do we got going on here? The endless traffic jam. Yeah, I don't think there's too much we can do about that. Now, are we... Yeah, we're assigned to 2. We don't have much steel down here. Are we... Oh, do we have too many too many trucks? No. We're just using it all up. I wouldn't think that would be such a haul that you would be using it all up, but we'll see. We're making progress. All right, so does all that make sense? I know that's a lot of talking and not a lot of action, but you guys hopefully know me by now. We're prone to fits of that. So if you didn't follow it all, we have this loop in to supply another train line that would bring passengers into the middle, and then a third one that would be the supplies going back out of this area. You know, again, and that would sort of say, well, this makes a little more sense to have this supply coming in here. And then the only other thing, well, that's really not the only other thing. I mean, little details to work out, but that just means we would definitely want to put our supply for Revergrad this way. Now, one more thing that I did, and then I moved the construction crew out of here over to Kameen. So how are they doing? They're still working on Energinist School, so we don't have bricks or boards. Why don't we have brick? Oh, because we switched you over. All right, so you know, you got a whole brick factory. You will never run out of bricks again, buddy. Right? And boards. We might as well have him go right to there because why not? Yeah, so you want to go to boards, right? I know it's bricks. Don't do construction on it. Just do that. What about prefab panels? Yeah, you know, you're really better off going here, aren't you? Yeah, so you're already going there. Brick, steel. Now steel, I want you to come here for steel. Right? Mechanical components. Yeah, mechanical and electrical components are there, right? Yeah. Saw it was red. I wanted to make sure it wasn't. Just because we have more than we need. There we go. Yeah, so you want to go to Kameen bus stop. I don't know why you were so messed up. But in any event, I moved them over there for 2 reasons. Excuse me. One is to get that school done will be a little bit quicker. The other is I want to start on Moscow. Not completely start on Moscow, but I'll show you the problem here in a second. Let me just assign that bridge, right? We're going to get our bridge over the railroad tracks. And then I think just right, you know, more or less on the other side of the tracks. When I came into here to start building, or not building, but I was doing my leveling thing, enjoying my morning and my coffee. And I couldn't level past a certain point. I guess I took all the things out of there, so I can't show you. So like right at about here, I stopped being able to flatten or level anything. So I actually did a little measuring like this. I said, okay, from here to here. Now you got to be careful that you're at the same altitude. but I zoomed out until it was like this, right? We can go this far, right across the middle of the screen. So if we came over, I was looking like, could we, I could level, a fair amount into here if I had a construction office back over here. Right? And that would just let me level and flatten for the farm here. And it'd also be another construction office that could, before I plan Moose Cow, would just sort of be out of the way. We have power right there if it comes down to it. And all I really want it there for is a couple bulldozers and a couple things. But that would also let me start laying out Moose Cow a bit. And then I was sort of looking. I definitely want to jam Moose Cow up over this way, I think. Either that or maybe into the back here. But probably over this way. Because if we can put... I was just looking at it. If we could put all of our livestock farms like right more where the Moose Cow sign is, like kind of shift it over a little bit this way, as opposed to this being the center of both the city and this might be right where the things are. I think we could get a couple farms in here. I mean, if you look at all of this, it's hilly. And here, let me turn on the wireframe for you because it's hilly, but it's not rocky. I mean, there's a few rocks right there, but I really don't see too many rocks. Like here and there, that might be an annoyance, but we can get around those. It gets rocky over here. So really, this isn't the worst place. I mean, I know we could at least get a farm in over here, and I'm betting we could get another one somewhere around here, even if it's not the world's perfect farm. And I think that really fits right into what we've been doing. And that would give us 2 more crop farms. I mean, heck, we could probably fit another. Well, see, you get into this, even though it's no more hilly here, you get into these rocks and they really affect you, especially if you're trying to do like a big field farm like this. Like these rocks, really, just those couple rocks there get pretty darned annoying. So there you go. So that's just more future thoughts. So I moved this guy over. So that's, if you were wondering, I know in the last episode I said I was going to get ready to put down another farm here, and I ended up not because of the leveling issue, and then moving this guy over, and let's build this over here, and you get the idea. Okay, so let's get back to what we were doing after that 10-minute break. Now, as far as how we're going to proceed with this, I think before we cut out our clothing, which we're really not necessarily making enough of anyway, and why get the added expense, I think I'd like to work on this more and get us closer to the point that we're going to actually do the clothing. Now, when it comes to fabric, I'm not going to let the fabric slow us down for getting the cars going. Right? We'll just purchase fabric. We'll purchase anything that we don't already make for the car manufacturing. All right? So if we don't have enough gears, we're just going to purchase it and keep our car manufacturing going once we get it built. But it doesn't mean we can't work towards these things anyway, right? So let's spend the last 20 or so minutes taking a look at how else we're going to do this. So I guess the thing I was doing here was like, here's another. So I think, do we really want this layout here? I don't think this is too bad. I don't know if, like, in other words, each one of these would have a warehouse, a corn silo. Now they would share this warehouse, right? And let's just see, can we kind of do the whole another one of these things? Let's just take a look, because I was thinking a little bit different. Yeah, I think what I'm thinking of is this is fine, but these, I think I kind of want the roads coming out this way if it would work. Where is our... Let's do this too. Like, so I do like this. Let's just go to factory connections and just see what that would do. See, the problem is if we spun this around, it would be fine. But if we spun this around, no, it could be... We don't really need to spin that around, though, do we? Yeah, no, I think what we should do... Let's get rid of these two. I'll show you what I mean. And then factories. Let's do the square. Let's get this back going. Yeah, it looks pretty straight to the grid. Yeah, I mean, if we did this, the problem is, no, that's not really a problem, is it? Yeah, and then we would take, yeah, that guy would go, yeah, more or less like that. Let's come here to our factory connections and make sure, yeah, those don't need to be connected. All right, we'll go back to roads. Just making sure that we can get the roads out every which way we want to. And then, yeah, this would be the fabric coming back out. But now that we're doing it a little bit different than I was thinking, let's just get rid of this. And then just so you know, this is a road cargo station, so kind of like we did here, I'm picturing being able to have multiple trucks waiting for the fabric, if we could. But let's get rid of that for a minute. And then just think about more storages. Yeah, so if we turn this guy this way, all right, and then all right, so the outgoing fabric could end up in here, and then we would have we could have a road cargo. I can't see because that sign's in my way. Yeah, this would be a road over here. So now what I'm thinking of is, I don't know that we really prioritize anything, but you know, this would be, yeah, this is sort of sticking into it, isn't it? I guess we could level more over this way. Where do we go? You know what, we really should have gone further back. Can we do a whole nother one of these? Let's see if we can do another one of these further back. I sort of left the possibility of coming up this way, though we really don't, it's good for construction purposes, but we don't really need to come up this way in the long run. So let's see. So we would want, yeah, I think I'd want to start further back. All right, let me pause it for a minute, and I'm going to do this whole thing again, unfortunately, but I'm going to do it further back this way. Yeah, does that make sense? And I don't want to just sit here moving all of this thing. I'll just be back in 1 minute. Well, we made a little bit of progress in the sense that I pushed this further back. So we'll see. What I was wondering is, could we share this fabric? We would have two warehouses. And what I'm thinking of is that I was thinking, could we share this with multiple fabric factories? So let's come over to here and here. And we can't really share one of these, if nothing else, because I don't know that we have to attach, but I don't want this guy burning down. So if we come here, we can see we have a road connection there. So it would be very awkward to try to do that, but we might be able to do something like this. Though we might want to go, yeah, so we would need, yeah, let's go a little bit further away, and I'll show you why. Oops, we can go up. If we're going to go up there, let's just level to where he wanted to be across this way. Level around him a bit more. So I think we're going to end up with like a lot more grain silos than I was picturing potentially. But let's just see how this. It'll all feel good or it won't, is my general experience with designing things in life. At a certain point, you get to a point where it just feels right. All right, so we want to kind of stay a little further away for the sake of being able to get a road into here and still be able to get, not that, a storages. So we would want a grain silo. I can't see for that side. Kind of went the wrong. Yeah, there we go. You know what? Let's get the road out of there first. Now, this guy, I think we'd want an asphalt road. Let me just do this. Nope. Nope. All right. Keep that guy. Nope, building in the way. Okay, we'll shrink you just a hair. Come on, I know you want to do it. Yeah, that's fine for now. So then, now let's go back to storages. Yeah, you know what? We could just tilt you one little notch just to make sure this connects. Now, yeah, because this would be the outgoing. So we have chemicals over here, and then let's go back to industries. I'd probably put the road out this way. Let's turn that so it's nice and square. Okay, so this guy's also going to need a grain storage. Which would need to go over this way, I think, would be best. I mean, they don't really need a grain storage, but why not? See this? We might do that off camera in between the episodes if it takes any more than that little bit. Let's let them stop. Yeah, see, we're into the mountainside. I don't mind doing the leveling when it's just dirt, but that mountain leveling. So we'll try to keep that. Well, you know what? If we keep it further away, it'll be more flexible. So let's try to keep it as far this way. A little bit. Yeah, the other thing we need to do is get footpaths in and out here. But these these fabric businesses, they're great for their ability to connect every which way to everything compared to some of the buildings. Yeah, I guess that's fine. All right, so now both of these are connected to this, which would be able to hold fabric. We'll be able to get, let's see, where's our roads? Yeah, I mean, we could send trucks right into either one of these, right? We got a road connection, not for fire protection and for that. So this guy could connect up to, I was planning on sort of a ring road at this point. Yeah, so no reason that can't cut over, I don't think. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, at some point here, we need to get a train into here, right? So I think that might be a challenge for another episode, but oh, we didn't do our grain silo. You know what? This guy's connected. Let's. You know what? Now we're gonna get rid of that. Just. Oh. Really? I don't think I ever deleted it quite that aggressively. Okay. Well, we can live with that. All right. So let's see about this grain silo before I forget. Kind of leave it at a good place for remembering where we left off. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on right here. as far as like if that train's coming in. Now the train doesn't have to take up that much room, but it will be there. So I'm just wondering, is it better to plan on the or this corn coming from around the back or the front? I guess probably the back, since we already have a road connection here. Yeah, see, the problem is if I build that, I'm not going to get, I'm going to plop it down. But the problem's going to be if I want that road to go all the way around. So I'm going to probably end up straightening this out some in between the episodes. Just so you guys don't have to sit there and watch me level so much. All right, so we'll connect this up. No. Okay, yes. Yeah, so now I mean, that would work. I don't know that we absolutely have to level anymore. Yeah, and this guy could come off of either way. That guy could attach there. Yeah, we'll have to see. Well, and we go, and we're not at the end of the episode quite yet, so we'll keep plowing away. So this would be, yeah, this guy's not attached, so we definitely need to get, like, say, a road. There, we'll straighten out some of that little goofiness, right? So the corn could come in this way. Now, can you attach? No, will you? Yes, you would. I bet you we can make this work. Yes, we can. Good. So that's 4 of them. Well, we're not too much room for clothing, I think. But that's not terrible. So now, yeah, it's really not terrible. This is the furthest away, and then the problem will be, can we even get, how do we get people to that? We can't cross here. We can't, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Unless we have a train station. I guess we could do like the train to the bus station thing, but even then, where's the road that would go in and out of? Okay, it would have to be over here. Yeah, this guy is a everything else I think would work out. Let's go over to footpaths. Now, of course, they can come in on the roads. I'm not too worried about that. The problem is I think we're going to be too far away with the way this isolated this whole side. We would have to somehow. Now that's not even the thing. Like, like they would. See what I'm saying? Like there's no way they're going to be going from there all the way over to this driveway. And there's also, because I put it so far back. Now the other thing we could do, yeah, I don't want to really count on a bus to a train station to a bus and all that. It seems like it's a bit too much. Yeah, and I can't get by this way. So I'm thinking what's happening is, yeah, this is just, it's not a good design. What I'm picturing is, what if we turned this Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. All right, we'll be back in 1 minute, and this will be the end of the episode, but I'm going to take this and make it more like this one. Right? We're just going to turn this whole thing 90 degrees this way. Here, let me go back in 1 second. Let me start out by saying my apologies. I just went and redesigned the whole thing off camera. But it's the same idea as what we've been trying to do. Like, the whole concept didn't change, except I flipped the whole entire thing upside down in the sense of, or backwards, however you want to do it. I was thinking about it, like, the way I was picturing it is things would flow out this way, but then I had bigger gaps, so I like jammed the whole thing in closer to the border just so that it wasn't sticking so far out this way. But here we go. Let's start at the beginning where stuff would come in. So we have 2 road supplies that I don't necessarily think we need. You know what? I didn't attach this one up by a road. I was just going around connecting roads and making sure everything worked. Well, it doesn't matter. I might change the roads around slightly if they don't make 100% sense. But what we have here is 2 road supplies, which again, I don't really necessarily think we need because we could probably just fill this guy up with corn. Or I'm sorry, with chemicals. We don't need that many chemicals. We probably don't even need 2 warehouses. I'll probably limit the amount. So you know what? I think I'm just going to get rid of these. We really don't need them. I've mostly been paused this whole time. Yeah, so let's do this. And let's just get rid of... Yeah, I'm gonna redo that. We'll call it the ring road, the road that goes all the way around it. Anyway, because there's just too many dumb connections, but for now. All right, so supplies would come in either through this road, chemicals. Get rid of that. All right, or they would come in here. Now again, we could probably... I could probably have even squeezed it further down, but you know, it's probably better to leave a little bit of a extra thing on the border. Yeah, you know what, why don't we get rid of this? I'm not in that much of a hurry to end it. Yeah, and see, this guy is probably okay. Yeah, let's get rid of... Yeah, see, this guy could definitely come a lot closer this way. This just gives us a little more flexibility as we decide on our railroad tracks too. That's not the straightest little bit I ever made. All right, so that could get in there. This guy could come here. What is that? Oh, that's the road connect. Yeah, we definitely want this. Can you come off of here? But you'll go that way. So we'd have corn coming in here. We would have chemicals in here. Corn, corn, corn. Right? Now this could probably even go, not that we really need it, but I guess it wouldn't hurt. Can you get past there? Yeah. Might straighten that. Well, I might redo this. But anyway, so you get the idea. So we have a corn silo for each one. Not that that's ideal, but again, we could drive stuff right to the factories too, but I guess it's not going to hurt to have that corn silo. And then this would be the fabric coming back out. And the main reason I did that is I thought about, well, you know, the flow of products towards wherever our clothing is. And then if we did have trains coming in and out, you know, we have the issue of the passenger loop versus the other loop. Now, the good news is we've got a little more room also around here. Remember that silo was way over here blocking us? So we could even shorten this up and maybe take our train back out the other way. So let's just take a look. Now, the other thing I did is I got, and I think, you know what, we're running out of time here. So what I'll do is I'll just describe this to you guys and then we'll come pick it up in the next episode. But this is the good paved road with the walkways on the side, the asphalt road with streetlights and sidewalks. And it would get us in. It's probably a little easier if we look at the footpaths. So, in other words, this one doesn't need a footpath all the way down to its entrance. This is, right there is the fabric factory, because we'll have a little footpath feeding that one. This footpath can go around here to feed this one. And then they can walk down the road to get into this one. I don't see any real point in putting a walkway there. And then this one will come over to here. So the question I have right now is, are we better off with one or two train things? And I think what I want to do is sort of wait and see. But when I say sort of wait and see, I guess we don't need anything but a small platform. The issue I have is, if we put one in the middle, are they going to be able to make it all the way around? It's going to be awful close. Now we can try to get it as far this way as we can. Right, so like if I were to put it there, so that, I really wouldn't mind having one train platform right there. I just wonder if it's going to be close enough. So we could do like this number. No, too steep. Yeah, so I'll work that out in between the episodes. But you get the idea. If we had one train station there, is it going to be close enough? Let's take a look at our handy-dandy electrical measuring tool called a substation. It's really not that far. 188. I think that they're going to be able to make it from the one station. So I just might have to... Let's just maybe... Well, let's do it now. And then that'll be it. And we'll come back. All right, so let's... what do I want? I want to delete this. And then I want to level this. Level this quite a bit so we get the train station in right next to the road, just to make sure it's as close as possible. And I'll level out this way a little bit more just to make sure the train can... We can level once the station's placed, but now I would have to say that if I were looking at this, this one is a little bit more direct of a walk, right? This one's a little bit further around the corner, and the reason I say that is I want to take this tool, and so there's the one, and then here's the other, and so in other words, I'd want to put like just maybe right here. See, the one's 144. I can't really move. Right there is 144, and this is like 160. So I'm thinking that, yeah, right here is going to be the middle of the walk, as best I can estimate how much longer going around that corner makes it. All right, anyway, it's probably too technical. Let's get a small train platform, because that's all we need. And that would be just about the middle. And we can go even closer. Now, we're not going to be able to get a walkway if we put it right there. Would there be a benefit? No, you know what? We already have walkways. Now, see, if I move it a little bit further this way, we're getting further from that other one. Maybe we'll just put it like right here. And who knows if that's even going to be its final spot. Here's what I was debating. Do we get this guy? Oh, yeah, look. That can't hurt. Okay, so we'll see if that works out. Now, maybe they'll be able to feed other things from here, but certainly I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get to each of these factories with that railroad connection. And then we can talk about how we get that railroad connection back in and out of here next episode. Do we bring it in this way? It sort of depends on where we put. I think I just want to get like 2 more fabrics in here just to be on the really safe side. I don't even necessarily plan on building them. But if we just know that we could fit them over here, and I don't see that as being a particularly big problem, but what I'm thinking of is maybe we do the clothing next over in this area so that we could feed almost, not directly, but by truck. We could just drive the fabric right over to here. If you notice, there's no rail connections in here, so what I'm picturing is using trucks to get out to some other kind of a rail station that would then, maybe we drive by, we drop off all the fabric we can to the clothing, and then we take it out to the depot that will then take it away over to the manufacturing. And again, I think that'll work out. But there you go. So there's a very long, not very long episode, but as long as they get, and we just got some stuff accomplished. But remember a while ago I mentioned feeling good? I feel much better about this design right here. I think it feels like it'll work. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. We still have to put in firehouse. We still have to put in electricity. But those things shouldn't be too big a problem. Okay, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Take care of yourselves and have a good day. Bye-bye.